from PBS.org. Trump signs action requiring proof of citizenship for voters, other measures overhauling U.S. elections. They say Trump signed a sweeping executive action to overhaul elections in the U.S., including requiring documentary proof. Documentary? You mean like documented proof?
I guess.
Citizenship to register to vote in federal elections. It's a weird way to phrase it. Like people got to come in and be like, I made this 1 hour long documentary about my life proving that I was born here. The order says the U.S. has failed to enforce basic and necessary election protections and calls on the states to work with federal agencies to share voter lists and prosecute election crimes. It threatens to pull federal funding from states where election officials don't comply. The move, which is likely to face swift challenges from voting rights organizations, is consistent with Trump's long history of railing against election processes. He often claims elections are being rigged even before the results are known, and has waged battles against certain voting methods since he lost in 2020. Trump has focused particularly on mail-in voting, arguing, I love how they do this, without evidence, that it's insecure and invites fraud, even as he has shifted his position on the issue, given its popularity with voters, including Republicans. While fraud occurs, it's rare. You see, I got a question. Why do they do that?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think we know the reason why, but let me just point out a couple things. They say, arguing without evidence. It's just nonsense statement. It's fake anyway, because Trump has cited many examples. And then it goes on to say, while fraud occurs, it's rare. Why? We used to have a news team. We don't have a news team anymore at Timcast. And we wrote an article that said, Donald Trump says thing. And it was a quote. And it was like, today Donald Trump appeared before a group of people and he said this, that, or otherwise, and he planned to do this thing. We got a ding from NewsGuard because they were like, you didn't fact check Trump. And we were like, we're a news organization. We reported that Donald Trump came out and we quoted him. And they said, yeah, his quote was wrong. And I said, that is not our responsibility. We are not a fact-checking organization. We are just literally reporting the news. We know why they're doing this. They're poisoning the well with these stories so that anybody who reads it instantly, without evidence, thinks Trump is wrong. So let me just try this. PBS.org says, without evidence, that Trump made a claim without evidence. Do they have any, is there any proof they have that Trump never cited any anomalous things in elections?
Absolutely not. I mean, these are the same people who accuse Trump of things when they didn't have any type of evidence at all.
Yeah.
I mean, right. most of these companies, most of these news organizations like CNN and MSNBC, PBS, they never come with facts or evidence at all. So yeah. I find it really funny I find it funny that they're reporting that Trump is claiming things without evidence.
Well, let's just start here. Democrats are never going to win again if Trump succeeds in these efforts.
What do you mean succeeds in these efforts
Well, they're going to try and block him from this. But if you get a citizenship question, it's not just about. Okay, first of all, I'll say this. It's literally not about illegal immigrants voting. That's stupid. We've been over this a million times. Illegal immigrants do not vote. Sometimes they do. It's rare. Non-citizens don't vote. Sometimes they do. It's rare. They get caught, but they don't vote in any meaningful numbers. The reason why Democrats want non-citizens in their states is to bolster their census numbers so they get extra congressional seats and extra electoral college votes. So if they can bring in 750,000 people into California, they get an extra electoral college vote.
Yeah.
They'll get an extra. That means those people may as well be voting.
Mm-hmm.
So why would Donald Trump then say you need proof of citizenship to vote? Because it will weed out voters who are no longer living or duplicate voters. It'll make it extremely difficult to double register in multiple states. So one of the things that we saw in 2020, there was an interview with a guy who was from Tennessee. I think it was from Arizona or Tennessee, but he was in the other state. And he said that he was listed as having voted in his home state, despite the fact that he moved for college and did not vote in that state. And because these states are all independent of the elections are not federal, they're state. If one person votes in California and the same name appears in Arizona, these states don't cross their databases over to make sure there's no double voting because the states are each an independent election to determine who the president is going to be. By requiring proof of citizenship, it's extremely it's a little bit more difficult to falsely register somebody else on their behalf.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, listen, they're going to do anything they can do to cheat, to be honest. Like, this is just going to stop, all the things that, to be honest, a lot of people, I had a friend in California who lives in California, and during the last election, he said that he wanted to see if it was true, if he would be able to vote twice. So he went And he did not vote twice. Okay, so don't want anybody. I don't want to. So don't call the feds or anything. I don't want to talk to nobody. Okay, he did not vote twice, but he said though when he went to the polls that they were not checking IDs, and he went there again to see if they would let him vote again. And they literally said, yes, you can vote. They didn't even check his ID.
The same polling location?
The same polling location?
Yeah.
He went to the same one.
The same one with the same people manning it.
The same one.
You said that's in California?
Yes, this is in California.
If I understand correctly, in California, it's illegal for them to, actually illegal to
Yeah.
ask for identification, which that makes me wonder how this is going to impact those kind of things. I know there's California, and there might be one other place where it's illegal to ask for any kind of ID, which is
California. They made it illegal to ask for ID,
So
which
wait,
is
if
the weirdest
another
thing.
place?
You can get a government issued ID without being a citizen, then what would we use as documentary proof of citizenship? What would it be?
So it's probably going to be a
Birth certificate?
passport or a birth certificate.
Okay, that's so funny. I forget if I mentioned this before, but I was just chatting with the protesters again, and they said that if people are forced to bring their birth certificate to vote, that women who are married are going to be denied the vote because they've changed their last name.
I have a feeling
Which
that
is going to affect Republican women more than Democrat women.
If that
you think about
ever
it, but
were a consideration, they need only bring their marriage certificate with them.
I have a feeling that the real ID, the new, most states require a real ID now. There's only a handful of states that are holding out. New Hampshire is one of them, but I believe the real ID is counts as a
No way.
a citizen proof of citizenship.
No way.
So they're going to require.
so?
No way.
But you can get one of those without being a citizen, right?
Right. Yeah. You get a real ID license if the DMV has updated their protocols and are in a federal database. So all you got to do is bring a piece of mail. You can use a credit card. Like when you go, it's like, we need proof of your identity, and you can go and bring a birth certificate, credit card, and a couple other things. But they do allow people to get driver's licenses if they're non-citizens.
Yeah.
Real ID does count as proof of citizenship for U.S. citizens.
So
So then this is meaningless.
So they're going to ask for what? A birth certificate? That's it? Or
ask for
a social security card?
They're going to ask for proof of citizenship, and the real ID counts as proof of citizenship for U.S. citizens.
Okay, so what Trump is calling for isn't even extensive enough.
So that means, well, illegal immigrants shouldn't be allowed to have an actual an ID in this country. Period. No type of ID. Correct. Illegal immigrants shouldn't even be able to get a library card. They shouldn't have any type of ID at all.
I agree, but there's obviously the left doesn't, and the reason they don't is because of Tim.
They were telling us that they're too stupid to get an ID this whole time.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this probably doesn't apply in this scenario. And real ID, it makes no. I don't know where you're seeing that, because it makes no sense. If non-citizens can get real IDs, how is it proof you're a citizen?
I googled it. I asked. It's in Brave, so I can go to Google and check.
I'd imagine that's incorrect.
Glock.
Like tons of non-citizens have driver's licenses.
Tons of them don't too.
You know what they should also do? They should also scan those IDs. Like there were times when I went out to the bar or to a club. I'll show them my ID, but then they scan it to make sure it's a real ID, to make sure it's not a fake, because people can have fake IDs as well.
I can't even buy.
So what if you went there and you had a fake ID?
Grok says real ID is not.
Not.
Yeah, it's not. Driver's license are not proof of citizenship, because the criteria for getting one is you can have a permanent resident card, you can have a foreign passport with a U.S. visa to get an ID in this country. Or to get a driver's license. So real ID is the states are now in a linked database.
You just show up and you're like McLovin.
So Brave browser's wrong. Yeah. So I just Googled it, and Google AI says no, real ID is not proof of citizenship as well.
But I think they're going to have
Google
to have
says it is not.
They're
And
going to
the
have
source here is Homeland Security.
Yeah, Google and Grok both say no. It was Brave's.
Well, DHS.gov says real ID is not proof of citizenship.
So it has to be birth certificate?
It appears so.
Are there people out there with fake birth certificates?
Of course.
How are they going to verify these documents are not real?
Here's another secret for you. You can get a birth certificate for anybody.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So when they go to these voting polls, are they going to have scanners to make sure that this ID is real, that the birth certificate is real? How are they going to confirm? Because people have fake passports, people have fake IDs, people have, fake everything.
Rare, but some people share the same social security number as well.
So we should take extra steps to ensure that these documents are legit. You know, because I don't put it past the Democrats. They may help people somehow.
I think you should have to do the fitness gram
They
pacer test.
they may funnel some money and help people come create fake IDs and birth certificates. You know, people they will do whatever they have to, whatever they can do to cheat. I don't put anything past these
I'm gonna
people.
go with you have to spell you have to go through the alphabet backwards. Then you have to do the fitness gram pacer test. What else?
I don't know, but I don't like the idea of having to go through the alphabet backwards.
You have to.
That one,
Gotta do this one. Gotta do this one.
You
that
have
one was
to know
always
the
weird to
name.
me, like going through the alphabet backwards. Like, wouldn't everybody screw that up?
I mean, my girlfriend says that she can do it.
What if they? Yeah, maybe.
That's fake. They never asked for that.
What are the names of the founding fathers? They can't.
How many?
I mean, most people can't name any of them.
Well,
Like you. I got to be honest. I don't think anybody in this room can name more than a handful.
You have to do a times table, maybe.
Bro, I could read a name off the Declaration of Independence. You'd be like, who's that?
I can name them.
How
You
many?
got
of them?
you got Thomas Jefferson.
You got cousin T.
You got John Adams. You got Martin Luther King. You got-
I mean, you're missing Ben Franklin. And you're
Terrence, you can't vote.
missing,
There's at least 56 people.
Okay, the ones that only matter to us, the ones that we talk about the most.
To be fair, I think they all matter.
Well, yes, but I'm talking about, but we only talk about like 4 or 5 of them the most.
Exactly, but actually,
I guess they all matter, but I'm saying America, we glorify
you
about
have to
4 or
list-
5 of
You have to
them.
list. You have to list all of them except for the well-known ones like Thomas Jefferson and James Madison and Hamilton and stuff.
like, what do you think would happen if like George Clymer showed up here and he was like, certainly this time I'm labeled and listed as one of the great heroes of this country, and they're like,
Nobody would
who are
even
you?
believe it.
Who are you? Right.
Who? And he's like, I signed the Declaration of Independence for Pennsylvania. And they're like, why are you talking like that? People didn't talk like that back then. You're
You
right.
went to your colony and nobody knew you.
I also want to stress, back then, people talked the exact same way that we do now. The British accent, as we know it, was created after the colonies were already formed.
What?
Yep.
No way.
Yeah. So we actually have so we speak real English. They speak. So what happened in the UK, they decided that they wanted to be uppity. And so they started intentionally speaking a non-rhotic form of English and teaching kids to talk that way.
Oh.
And we actually speak closer to real English than they do.
I thought that the American Southern accent was derivative of the English
Scottish,
accent.
I thought.
Oh, it's
I
Scottish?
think it's Scottish.
There's
Perhaps.
a lot of founding fathers. I didn't even.
That's right.
I'm over here talking. I'm over.
Papa
I don't
John?
even know my damn self.
Like, come
I'm
on,
over
dude.
here
Who knows
suggesting stuff?
Button Gwinnett? Button Gwinnett? Georgia?
George
With all due
Mason.
respect, this guy signed the Declaration of Independence for Georgia. That's based. But I don't know. Caesar Rodney?
John Jay is an easy name to remember. Why don't we
Everybody-
talk about John Jay?
Well, people know about John Jay.
Colonel Sanders.
I never heard of John Jay.
Okay, Colonel Sanders, Papa John, Ronald McDonald, who else?
The modern founding
The
fathers.
Hamburglar.
Grimace.
Cat Williams.
Taco Bell Chihuahua.
Yeah, Grimace is up there too.
Taco Bell Chihuahua.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Target dog.
Spud
That's,
McKenzie.
I mean,
from the 90s.
unironically more representative of our values today than the
Well,
actual founding fathers.
Unfortunately, that's true.
I'm going back to school.
There's this video that was going viral where a guy says there's trisodium phosphate in Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So he goes to a Home Depot and he's like, here's trisodium phosphate. It's a cleaning agent. And then he was like, they actually don't sell the phosphate version anymore. They have alternatives because TSP, as it's called, is dangerous. So he orders some online and shows the warning label saying dangerous if inhaled or consumed. And then he's like, but it's in Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And he's like, we got to have better options. And I just got bad news for everybody. I watched a commercial on the TV where a morbidly obese man was eating pizza. And then when he takes the bite, he goes, oh, and it's like, don't give up the foods you love. Take this drug. And there was a drug advertisement. And then he takes the pill and he's like, and then starts eating the pizza. And I'm like, dude, if the food is physically causing pain, stop doing it. Stop eating it. But people would rather eat food that is destroying them and take a drug to cover it up
That's me.
than not eat unhealthy things.
It is an addiction. I was talking to a couple fellas in the green room earlier. A lot of people don't know. I was addicted to really addicted to sweets. Cake and cupcakes, birthday cake and cupcakes.
And not pancakes?
People will come to my house. I love pancakes, but I'm talking about just sweets. People will come to my house and ask me, well, whose birthday is it? Because I would have I would have an actual birthday cake, a whole layer of cake sitting out. I'm like, it's somebody's birthday. I would wake up in the morning, cut a piece of cake, and drink coffee. And then I said, you know what? This is not healthy. So I started buying the smaller cup. So I started buying tiny cupcakes, and I would eat those in the morning with coffee. But then I looked at the calories and said, oh, well, I guess it's the same.
Is it true? Yeah. I heard that in the black community they put a lot of sugar in food. They put extra sugar.
Oh yeah, and especially in Kool-Aid. We don't even look at the recipe. People say how much sugar you should put in there. I'm like, I don't know. Just keep pouring until it tastes good. But yeah, I know people who put sugar in their spaghetti.
Oh, that is
absolutely crazy. Yep. But I used to do this. I loved eating sugar I would put sugar and butter in my rice. It was so delicious.
Well, that is
sugar, butter, and rice.
Reminds me, Uncle Ben. There's another founding father right there.
We used to
Aunt Jemima, founding mother,
Mrs. Butterworth.
I used to make a toast. I used to make toast, and I would put either sugar and butter on the toast, or syrup on the toast.
Well, come on,
so a syrup sandwich,
buttered toast with cinnamon sugar.
Oh yeah, that's
amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.